Something about body party that just make you want a body roll in the background. Just automatically want a body roll. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you guys so much for being here. Welcome to this love story live. Like love story at the best way possible because like y'all really like the show. I'm really mad that this is a limited series. I really, really like this show. But before we get into all of that, it's not just me here really liking the show. Ashley is here too. Ashley, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. I'm ready to get into this episode. I woke up first thing this morning, watched the episode, recorded my review, and I'm ready to get into all the things. Even though you missed the most dramatic episode last week, Tyra, I'm ready to get into this wedding. I'm ready.
Girl. Once again, thank you guys so much for being here. We most definitely appreciate it. Let us know your thoughts below on Love Story and hype us up if you are having a good time. Now, starting where we always start with these overall thoughts, baby. These people deserve each other. Missing what I missed, that toxic brawl in the park last week. I was like, oh, y'all both crazy. Okay, cool. Have that. Y'all can have that. That episode was so good. The acting was great. I was just like, anybody watching this, there are no sides to be chosen. There is no way to go, well, it was really John, or it was really, because I think for the most part, a lot of people who, especially like the avid fans, they're watching to see who is really at fault
Yeah.
or who's going to be depicted in a certain light to go, well, they did say way back when that John or such and such was a certain way. Like, no, I think the show does a really good job of having them on even playing fields. And this episode was no different. This is so good. Like, I'm so upset. Like, we clamor through these streets looking for quality television and really well written shows, good plot. And it's just I always like have a problem watching shows where I feel maybe overly fulfilled or like under. And I'm just like, man, just like how when we were watching Night of the Seven Kingdoms, honey, and I was like, okay, so y'all gonna play, you're gonna give us this cute 25 minutes. It's always just enough. These episodes are like curated and written to perfection. Whoever's back there, keep doing what you're doing because it's great. I love this episode. Kudos to all the people who were here in attendance for this little raggedy wedding, because I would have left. She packed some of your things and hers and left. I would have left, Charles, because y'all not gonna play with me, even if it is on your funky little wedding day. But I'm loving this show, and I'm getting anxious every time we get closer and closer to it being over. Ashley.
I know, and I think we only have 9 episodes this season. Anything else, Ryan Murphy, we get 10, 11 episodes. You ain't got no story to tell? What I will say is outside of the backyard hoedown in that one-room shack, I absolutely did enjoy this episode, and it touched so many key points. We really got to see, like you said in episode 5, that there's a dual nature here. And for all of the weirdos in the comments talking about this is a documentary or this is fictional. Hoes, we know it's fictional. Duh. These are just real people that they've created this show around to share someone's perception or idea of what happened. But I, like Tyra, agree that I feel like it's balanced. Episode 5 showed me that John was just as Looney Tune as Carolyn was. And this episode kind of further perpetuates that a bit more. I loved how in this episode, John, we're really getting to understand how he has all of these great intentions, but just like her mama said, like, I know you believe that. But really, in practicality, who's the man that you're going to be? John still hasn't shown us or stood up to be that man everyone's been calling him to be. And as far as Carolyn, honey, Carolyn says, I'm that girl. This was all a part of the schedule. Let me go in here with Calvin and put on this and then go out and stun on these hoes because y'all could never. I loved it. I thought this was a good time. We got to know more about her history and her mom. And I was surprised at Auntie Ethel. I had a good time with this episode, Tyra. I really did. I enjoyed it.
It was so good. It was so... Oh, we have 30 minutes, y'all. We have 30 minutes. And then we have to say bye-bye to these people. And everybody knows with real life depictions becomes, a certain air of dramatization, if you will, embellishing a bit. It's never going to be 100% accurate. But based off of what we're getting here and what I've seen, because I went down the rabbit hole, this is as good as you were going to get. I don't know who got something to say, but you can keep to yourself. You can keep to yourself. This is great. This is popping. What are we saying? But starting here, because Ethel said, come sit down. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. Oh, baby. Oh, I needed to talk about the show last week because Ethel said, "Ho, is you cold?"
She said, take
Not,
that off your
not,
neck.
not ho, is you cool? Ho, are you cold? Is your neck cold? Is there a blizzard? Who are you trying to stun on? What do you think this is? You already pulled up here with your little raggedy ass scarf, and we here speaking politics, and you don't know politics the
Yeah,
first.
no.
Girl, gather yourself, and next time, make sure you wake up on time to add your name to the bulletin board of things to do. Nobody's waiting to grace you with coffee in the morning. Oh, girl, Ethel had me spent. Ethel had me spit. Like, but once again, I love how the episodes just like collide. This could be a really great movie if it wanted to be. But it we pick up like effortlessly where we left off. And it was like, baby, coming to this table was one thing. But the way Carolyn played last episode, well, let me see the ring. Well, just let me wear it. Well, let me smell the ring. Let me look at it again. Ma'am. Ma'am, please. Where you just want to break up with me, where you're not, where you're scared, they are equally yoked in the worst way. And that's okay. That's okay, but they are. And I love that for them. But the way baby Miss Kennedy, if you will, said, I need to talk to you about what's about to happen if you're really going to be here. Because clearly, despite my best efforts, you're not going nowhere. So, this is not acceptable. I I appreciate what Ethel had to do in this episode, but the fact that she had to have that sit down, as many others I feel like have been dropping breadcrumbs to Carolyn of what her life is going to look like and how it's going to alter. Baby, you can't be out here doing this and splitting hairs all in public, having these brawls out in the park. You will not, continue to be your everyday average woman. She said, you remind me of Jackie. You know Jackie? Yeah. She said, I could walk in the room. I was never going to be the pretty one, but I could be the smart one. I could be intelligent. I could be this. But, if everybody was going to be there in black, I was going to wear green. I was going to find my way to stand out. You being the, classic beauty minimalist that you are, you're going to effortlessly stand out in those ways already. There's already going to be a camera on you for that. But then there's going to be the expectation for you to act accordingly. Are you ready for that? Because nobody's going to extend you any grace, darling. They're not. People are going to take these photos for face value every single time that you're out with him and say and do things about you that may or may not be true. And you have to be prepared for that. Jackie was unfortunately prepared for that. Are you? Because this is the last time. It was really given. This is the last time the public's going to extend you grace, and the last time I'm going to extend you in either. Because you're a part of not just John. You're a part of the Kennedy name.
Yeah.
I appreciated this so much. The show is really good. Ashley, how did you think about Ethel? What did you think about Ethel sitting his mama's down and saying, "We're not going to keep extending you grace, honey"?
Well, first of all, when I saw Ethel see that newsreel and then Carolyn sauntering, I said, oh Lord, she finna eat Carolyn up, hurt her feelings real bad. But she took a completely different approach. I said it in my upload. I said, this was a kindness. This was like a mercy that Ethel extended to her. And I didn't get that Ethel was the type to be extending kindnesses and mercies in episode 5. But over here, I liked how we got a walk down memory lane. I like how we got the history lesson. When JFK passed, Jackie wore the same outfit for days because she wanted to make a statement. And she knew that even after his life ended, her life in front of people was never going to be off. And then she talks about her own marriage with Bobby when he passed 5 years later, and I had to pull it together. And I also, I caught the shade there. No tea, no shade, but it gave Ethel wasn't too much feeling Jackie at first. And it was like,
she ain't feeling her.
after watching her though show up, she had to earn her respect at that point. And I really love this because Carolyn, it's more than just being cute. It's more than that man with that full thick head of hair. and that tight booty. You know what I mean? There's more to it than this that you have to live through and endure. And are you up to it? Because it's not just about you anymore. Jackie understood that. I had to learn that, but the inviting everybody to wear all black and you turn up in white now, Miss Ethel.
Mm-hmm.
She's always been
I
that
gotta
way. But
stand
no, I
alone.
thought this was a kindness. I thought this was a lesson. If Carolyn was paying attention, this could bode her well for the future. But I loved this interaction. It was a strong episode opener.
Child, this is why Karen. I love this though. I love that he didn't acknowledge putting her. John told us everything he needed to tell us when she showed up with her scarf, stunting. First of all, you never come to a round table with the family and wives to go, dump them, date them. What her little mantra? I said, girl, are you deaf? Why would you come here and say that? Train them,
Date 'em,
date them, dump them. I was like, what? And they use that to rub, like, baby, this is what did she say? This felt like initiation, or this felt like this is
amazing.
exactly what it was. This is what that was. And John in no way prepared her last episode. The
Don't
way
give
he
a damn.
said, like, he's like, baby, yeah, get on your neck, take that off. Like, he didn't prepare her. It was just like, well, no, I didn't say these things or let you know exactly what you were in for as far as the round table conversations, the expectations while we were staying there, even to brace yourself for Miss Kennedy. I was just trying to protect you. The whole thing of I'm going to protect you, I'm going to make sure that the paparazzi is a bit. He's not even protecting you from his inner circle and his own family. How is he going to protect you from the world? Like, she's listening to what John is telling her, and she's not seeing the big picture. Ugh, I don't
Because it
know.
needs to he gave a damn. He was gonna set her up for failure every single time with Caroline, with Ethel. Every single time John has shown he don't give a single damn. He
He
doesn't.
don't. He doesn't. And I'm just like, girl,
Not
can you
never.
see? But I don't think it's just John. I think she likes the idea of just being, even if she's trying to pretend that she doesn't, she likes that attachment. And this is the main thing that shows me you don't give a damn. Because I remember when we had that first conversation, episodes 1 through 3, I was like, Ashley, I don't think he give a damn about this magazine. I think that this is something to do. This is in the meantime, in between time. Because I think if it was just about him, like he said, I could sing, I could be an actor, I could do, yeah, you could do all of these things, but your first big leap off the porch is a political magazine. With the flair of the culture and modern sensibilities, what this is about, politics and getting people into it, whether they're, on the average C-SPAN, CNN watchability or all. Get on in here. He could have made a magazine about anything. He chose this for a reason, and I wish Carolyn would have paid a little bit more attention. Why this? Out of all the things that you could have sold, because he could pretty much do anything. He could print his own money at this point, just off of his name alone, but you chose this for a reason. And you chose it and you do nothing with it. This sweet friend here, and it's crazy to watch. I think it was a recent doc from a few years ago where he's our friend here. He's speaking on John's character and their relationship and how much he loved and cared for him. But baby, the way he is just like this. It's my best good friend. It's Barry Forrest Gump and Bubba. But here to lay this burden at his feet and you could give a damn. It's just very I'm just so stressed out. Can't you see I'm planning a wedding? Last time it was well, can't you see that we're going down to the vineyard and wherever else to have to meet with the family? And is it really that? Yeah, we don't have any buyers here. We don't have anything to go in between these pages. You are the front runner to sell this magazine, and you're not even here in name or in person only. It's all on me. The way he said, "Give me a break," give me a break. You would think that he would go out of his way to make sure that this magazine was successful. I think he wants the praise and the notoriety, but just for this in particular, he wasn't prepared to really acknowledge what it was going to take to put that work in to have this magazine be successful. And I think it mirrors the relationship in the marriage to come. It looks good. It sounds good because this is what I should be doing. I'm not ready to jump off the porch just yet and run for any offices or be president, be senator, governor. I don't want to do any of that, but I can do this cute magazine. But can I really do this cute magazine? And I really putting in any work? Because it looked like you got your foot up. When I come in here and try to hold you to the fire, or at least give you some sense of responsibility, can you give me a break? I'm just tired. Is it really that deep? It's really going to be that deep. Now you're going to have that same energy for yourself when this magazine goes under. Ashley.
I feel completely opposite on this situation. I can't stand this little militant munchkin Berman. I think he's terrible. I think he's terrible. That is not your friend, John. When he said, "This ain't law school, baby. You ain't got 3 times to pass the bar."
And it
I said,
ain't.
"Oh, hell." I said, "Oh yeah, he's not your friend. He's not your friend because here's the thing. John ain't pop up like this. If this is truly your best good friend from the college days, from the days before, you know he was going to be here in name only, just like he says when he's trying to move into TV. Yeah, so I'm just going to be listed as an executive producer. I'm not doing any of that. Now, if you want the wedding photos, maybe I can get that. Berman went into this full well knowing John was not going to work. Just like he brought up law school and the failure and him being a dummy. You knew what was going to be over here, sir. You partnered with him because you said, "This is JFK Jr. This is the people's champ. This is America's son. This is quid pro quo. This is pay to play. This is fair exchange. Ain't no robbery." In my opinion, Berman, you got a lot of mouth and you're a little bit too ugly to be coming at him like this. I didn't like it, Tyra. I'll never like it. And if you want to do what you want to do with George, go do it. You got my name. You got my backing. I did the launch. I know y'all done sold magazines because now you're going to be on TV. Looking for who going to get you the sponsors, Berman? If you don't leave me alone and let me go to the Vineyard or Cumberland or wherever we're going to get married, let me do that. And then I'll grease your palms a little bit or whatever this is. Berman, this is no, because I don't think this is that. I don't think it ever gave that. I don't. We ain't seen him write an article, Tyra.
From what the folks say and what's in the streets, this is his best good friend.
He don't talk to him like it's his friend.
I wouldn't either. Did we? Are we gonna just bypass that first episode of him selling and presenting the idea? I didn't come to you with this. You came to me.
Well, he picked it up. He should have said no. You ain't got to say yes. You know he don't finish anything. If you know he doesn't finish anything, you know he's a failure. You know he's figuring it out. Why would you put all your eggs in that basket?
I think it was because at the time when he presented it, he felt so passionate and so serious about it. At that point, we're in our 20-somethings and you around here being a serial, blonde woman dater. you trying your best efforts at these little tasks and it like, no. Now that I'm 30, in my 30s, my mother has passed on. There's an expectation for me to buckle down and be serious about something. And at this point, he playing in everybody's face like he don't want to put his hat in the political ring ever. So if you don't want to do that, this is your baby. This is your launch into the stratosphere of me being more than just John F. Kennedy Jr. So I'm expecting you to take it seriously. And if he don't hold his ass to the fire, who will? I think he's had enough leisure time to go off and do whatever the hell he want to do.
He better figure it out. John was taking it very seriously when he had Carolyn working on the magazine. He said, "Look, Carolyn did all the work for you, Berman. All you got to do is put it up." He brought somebody in to do the work.
Exactly. And that's irritating as well. You and your little Kit Kat. You and your little kid. What do you say, your little kitty cat? This is not her job. This was supposed to be you. And I think this is just something to do in name only. See that George magazine? Yeah, that's me. That's John. Yeah. But that's not what you signed up for. If you wanted to present yourself as the face only, and just the brand, and you had nothing to do with anything else, then just let it be that. Don't sell me something that it's not, because I signed up not just for the check.
He did the launch.
That was not enough.
He does the PR. Berman, if he really knew John, couldn't have expected anything different. Even we're talking about 20s to 30s. Now we're in our 30s. John moves the same way, even with Carolyn. It's a shiny, new, exciting thing, something that's different. Let me go after this. But how long was that going to last until the splendor wears off? When they have that conversation in the kitchen, right? After they make up, and he's like, "I'm just used to the world, relenting and giving me everything I really want without working hard." That's always been him. He's fully actualized in that. And I think Berman knew that. I think it'd be
nobody can have expectations for him to change. Nobody can have expectations for him to grow up. Like, nobody?
Not when you have money on the line. He invested this money. He thought it was going to be a cash cow because he says, "I have JFK Jr. backing this."
Yeah. I
I
did.
think, and I think that's where he should have
And
left.
but then it's not even like, okay, the work and what he said, I'm having irritable bowel syndrome, bowel syndrome. I've been in the hospital twice. I'm putting in the work. I'm putting in the long hours. The least that you can do is make the magazine prioritize it enough to where your name and your pending nuptials or whatever in last episode, they're not even talking about the magazine. They're talking about front
The fight.
page and her possibly rejecting you. And then when I present the aspect of us kind of using that in our favor, then, oh no, that's you got to do something. I'm leaving here with something, John. I need you to do something. Like, you're not prioritizing this. Nobody cares about this magazine. People care about the tabloids with you and your woman on the front page. Hello?
They're gonna put the wedding pictures in there, Tyra. It's gonna be all right. Watch.
Barely.
It's gonna.
He didn't even want to give us that. He didn't even want to give us that. Like, I got your back, Mike. I got your back. I see it. I see it, sir. I see it. John played too much, and he had a lot of growing to do. This was not the time to try to launch this magazine or try to marry Carolyn. Now, baby,
You're just wrong, John. You're just
just
wrong.
wrong, John. This is it just feels like a checklist. Well, I'm this age. This is what I should be doing, what I should have. So let me present the idea to do them, even though I know I'm mentally unprepared. He wasn't prepared for that magazine, and he surely wasn't prepared for this. They at this point are so fixated on not having a Kennedy wedding. That's the main focus right now. It's not too much of even, I guess, like the reconciliation last episode. It wasn't much of that. It was still up in the air and indifferent as far as what it means for Carol to be a Kennedy, what responsibility that lends to. So when we come here and, okay, well, we're about to get married, but now we're not focusing on the values of our marriage or what's next. We're just focused on the wedding, and we know that we don't want that traditional Kennedy wedding. And he feels like he's compromising in a way that he never has before, because not my family, not in my
Yeah.
family way. This is what we do. It's tradition. It's like, look what I'm doing for you, Carolyn. Yeah, this is topical. And she's not realizing this is topical. This is very, very surface level. This is just the wedding. What about after? What about your marriage? Carolyn was having none of it. She says, you know what? What I really hear you say, I say, first of all, you and the little dandelion salads that you got out of Central Park, so don't put that on this table. Did you watch?
She was like,
It's like, oh, this is delicious. It's like, yeah. So about those Yankees. So we're gonna book the venue down at the regular venue where we always have the Kennedy. We're not doing that. Well, what exactly do you want to do? Carolyn feels all kinds of plex because what you're saying is you don't want to follow not in the Kennedy way, but in my way. I had to do everything. There's always that little beef. Like, I had to check all these boxes to make sure I, as Carolyn, the prodigal daughter, did things a certain way. Here you come trying to do whatever. This feels so childish to me. I understand what they're trying to do, and they have every right to want to do things their way. But the way that they're going at it, it feels so trivial and childish because it's like, yeah, we're rebels. We're not Kennedys. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You do. And as far as just the Kennedy name and the expectation, it's still going to be there regardless of how minimalist and how fine tuned and short your wedding list is. It's still going to be there. You just this is just ish and giggles for me right now. It was funny to see them smoke, and it's like two little like college students just brainstorming. Yeah, so yeah, just no, they don't need any food. Let's just have a cake. Yeah, just a couple of beers and a cooler. Yes, it's gonna be like nothing they've ever seen before. We're gonna take people out of their element to let them know that you're not getting the traditional Kennedy couple here. You're getting something different with us. Yeah, for how long? I think that this was more so to appease her than him per se, even though he's, rebellious in his own way. But this is also catering to the idea that he's different when you're not. Eventually, decisions are going to have to be made. Ashley, he said, "Get off my back, Carolyn."
Caroline was acting her was really showing her behind because we had just seen a softer side where she said, I think I might like Carolyn. She didn't just immediately accept you, like she wants to get to know you more, like I like her. But back over here it was very much I'm glad mommy's not here to see this because you're such a disgrace, John. I thought that was interesting. But as far as Carolyn and his discourse, what I thought was most interesting about their conversation outside of City Hall and what kind of wedding do you want, and I never really thought about the wedding. I just always romanticized what marriage would be like, but I never really thought about this part. Anyway, but then when they get to the point of him suggesting Cumberland Island and her being like, "Oh, and what ex was this? Was it Madonna? Was it Sarah Jessica Parker?" Well, I was like, "Oh, she likes being in that number. She likes being the one he chose out of all of those women." I thought that was very telling because her dancing in her panty drawers, talking about his exes, was not on my bingo card. What I will say, and what she has been since we've been introduced to Carolyn, is that she is very, very strategic. In every moment, she's assessing, okay, like, okay, how do I play this? How do I read the room? Like when he said City Hall, she was like, it's like she plays very coy, like she knows exactly what buttons of his to push. And then when it comes to Caroline, she this was a major chess move, in my opinion, what we see her do later as it relates to
Mhm.
Caroline. Because Caroline says, "Don't answer for my brother. He can answer for myself. I know my brother." I said, "Oh, okay, that's what we're doing." Yeah, no, we do want a Kennedy wedding. We just don't want the typical Kennedy wedding. So it'll be there. And Caroline's got her side eye. I thought this was fun. I thought this was telling because all the while, as Caroline and John were grieving Jackie, it was very much like, I understand why she raised us this way, but we're our own people. Why do we have to wear a smile when we go out in the public and do all those things? But in this scene, we see her the full embodiment of everything Jackie was. And I think that's the most interesting part. As much as you critique it,
Yes.
now you're living it.
As you should. I just think somebody need to hold his, because he was even when she was confronting him about the brawl. It's like, oh, can I just mess up once? Can I? It's very on brand for the family and the Jackies of the world. But she's been conditioned to do this, and then there's always going to be that air of resentment because I had to follow in the family way all my life. Why do you just get to be the boy? Why? But it's fine. But getting into those chess moves, if anybody ever thought that we came here for love, just love. And we came here, the hopeless romantic, and I'm not trying to do anything to persuade anyone. Girl, what? What you mean don't be mad? Heifer? Girl, you're not my sister no more. You're not my sister anymore. How dare you do this? This was a bold move in every single way. It was very calculated. Now, everything up until this point has been calculated, but it's been in a coy sense, and it's all been geared towards John. Now it's like, oh, I'm losing my grip. Things are getting a little slippery. I need to make sure I have sis on my side too. This is what you do. This is I'm your sister. I couldn't believe she asked her this. I was very, very surprised. I and I don't know. I guess I missed this point of the wedding where she wasn't the matron or the maid of honor or whatever. But for you to ask me to step aside in favor, because this would mean a lot to her, and I could win favor with Carolyn by doing this gesture. Come on, sis, please understand. Wild work. Oh no, this heifer was planned. She's been planning this since birth. She's been planning this since birth because a lot of this just felt like nothing's going to stand in the way of my opportunity of being Mrs. John F. Kennedy, not even my own sister. If I have to offer this up to Carolyn, you can't tell me Carolyn just means so much. And her opinion of you just means so much. Now, the opinion as far as what it could mean to John and the type of wedding they want, the type of marriage they want, just moving forward, and her being favored because I had you in my wedding. I just had you in my wedding, but you stood beside me, girl. And like, look at this olive branch I'm extending. Don't you see how much I care, how much I'm really willing to compromise for you? My own sister. I compromised that for you and John. But your sister, though? Y'all still have to go on after this. This was wild to me, and I couldn't believe she asked her to do this. She's lucky that, the sister was all in love and she still, of course, supported and was there on her side. But as the sister said and kept reiterating, this isn't going to change anything. You think that this is going to do something? As far as you guys' relationship moving forward, are you going to be in favor with Carolyn? This isn't how that works. This is going to benefit you temporarily, but what is this going to do for her in the long terms when this would have meant everything to me? This is forever, and you chose her. This was trash, Heifer. Ashley.
Yeah. Again, Carolyn's out here playing chess and not checkers in both the Narciso Rodriguez designing the dress, to having her company for that, to having Caroline as the maid of honor. Now, is this forever something that's going to curry favor with her forever? No. But is it an inroad? Absolutely. This is a start. This is an open door into the world of Caroline. Caroline was even taken aback in the moment, like, oh, wow. Like, and I think if for nothing else, but you're going to be more formidable than I thought you were going to be. As I don't know, I don't want to say a nemesis per se, but Carolyn, you're not as dumb as I thought you were. I really think this is kind of showing Caroline that I might be up to meet her in some kind of way. We needed to extend some sort of olive branch, but I agree. The sister said this means nothing to Caroline, and it doesn't. But this would have been the world to me. And I think Carolyn, again, even in this moment, she's thinking more about strategy than she is those people that she loves, right? And we are going to see it repeated over and over and over again. I don't know how anybody can watch this show and see, and I don't hate Carolyn. Like, I don't mind her character at all. Like I said, she's flawed, but she's not an unlikable person in general. But I did think that that was kind of cold blooded. Like, that's your blood sister. That you, both your sisters, literally were there, and it was like, yeah, no, Caroline's gonna be it, because this is gonna be me compromising. This is me making a sacrifice, and I don't think it's as much of a sacrifice as, like I said, I think this is part of Carolyn's game. But we'll see.
I
We'll see
like
what it is.
Carolyn. I don't have an issue with Carolyn. I like that we have a depiction of, even in the worst way, someone choosing their wants and their desires above anybody else. Like, she's selfish, and that's fine. That's fine. She's highly independent and extremely guarded in a way, but she's very selfish. Like, if this is, a means to an end, sacrifices have to be made, sis, and I need you to understand that. Like, girl, I don't. I came out here with the intention to stand beside you. Thank you so much for the 4.99 super chat. In Carolyn's defense, in my 20s, it'd be damn near impossible to let go of the fantasy John represents, especially if I use that much strategy to get it. I mean, it's giving. Be careful what you wish for at this point. But
I'd never go near a Kennedy. Never. It would be automatically repellent. I don't care how thick and full his hairline was,
girl,
how cute he was. There is nothing that would make me get in line with that family.
the ominous feeling to have just that brief moment on Ethel saying, he was gone and I had the baby, and the way Jackie showed up for me, and I had to still show up in the public and be as pregnant as I was, and Jackie still wearing the blood stained suit because she wanted the public. Like, it's so much trauma, and she is not listening to any of that. She just sat there and told you how we persevered when we lost our husbands.
And there's the
Okay.
foreshadowing right there when she says, oh, wow, you've lost so much. She was like, it's a blessing to have as much as I've lost, but now you're next in line. Like, baby, you're next, basically, is what I got from it. And what we all know happened. It was like, okay, this is kind of your warning.
Say, like, why couldn't they have several? That's what I was thinking at first, but then they wanted everything to be so quaint, and we just have 40 guests, and it's all child. Anywho, poor Calvin. Yet another move. Girl, now we already established, leaving last episode into this one, and I really like how much light that the show is giving Calvin and his wife, because they didn't have to do that. They could be, written off just side characters in the grander scheme of the story arcs with Carolyn. But no, they took some time to really have standout moments with him and his wife. And if you had it to do over, would you still marry me? And just the sacrifices that it takes to stand next to someone who's more established or known than you are when you want to be a career woman, or what have you, or you're dealing with infidelities, or just, it was very potent last episode. And here we learned that the divorces happened. I said, well, dang. Dang. But everybody has known for quite some time. It's very, like, I love how everything is just handled as like insider training. Everything is just so calculated. Carolyn's like, so yeah, we're doing the inseam and the measurements. How about you walk out before me so nobody gets the wrong idea? Who's gonna see us? With the designer, and put two and two together of what, Carolyn? You're being paranoid. No, she wasn't, because Calvin said, "Uh-huh, I see what's going on here, Heifer. How could you?" Choosing yourself. There shouldn't be, or that there doesn't have to be the expectation for her to owe Calvin anything, but it's like you owe him, you know, for the rooms that I put you in, the position that I gave you, the work. Like I was here. It's very bootstrappy. Because, like I said, I think Carolyn was in school to follow in her mother's footsteps and be an English teacher or something. It wasn't nobody's fashion, honey. But I saw you and saw something in you, and when you knocked, I opened the door. And above all else, we're friends. We're close. And it was just sad to have Calvin really feel set in the idea of, well, even though my world is crumbling as far as my relationships and marriage, this is still tight knit, and so tight knit to the point that I'm going to have that standout moment during those nuptials, and I'm going to design that dress. Child, not only are you not going to design that dress, but I think it's best that we part ways. The way she worded that, and I was like, Carolyn, please sell that to somebody else. It was very like, I'm doing you a favor. Like, somebody needs to move, and if it has to be me, it's going to be me. I don't want to be here, with my little wedding and nuptials and relationship with John, upstaging anything that you have coming in the future. You know, the things that I want for myself and the things that you want, we're just moving in, separate directions right now. Love you, babe, but I'm gonna go my way and you should go yours. But thank you for everything. It's like, and then we walk away and smirk. I was like, oh, Carolyn, this was very cold. Like everything is just so freaking cold and calculated. She always knew that this was gonna happen. She knew that this is what she was inching her way up to. Calvin was just delusional enough to expect loyalty above all else. Because girl, like, I'm responsible for you guys getting together and being in that room. And who put you there? Yeah, that was kind of me too, and introduced, and even the way you're flourishing in the business. I opened that door for you, girl. Don't you owe me that much? No, I really don't. Matter of fact, I'm gonna leave now. Like, but the way that we painted it as if we were doing a favor, it's like, yeah, this is going exactly the way I want it to go. I'm a smile as I'm walking out of here because I really don't want to be here anymore. But I'm gonna make it look like I was concerned and cared. Talk about Ashley.
Carolyn didn't give a single damn. And for what it's worth, when Calvin's sitting there talking like, I'm a visionary, I had this much of an inch of sympathy for Calvin in the moment. And then he ruined it because he was talking slick and throwing shade the entire time. She knew as soon as she walked out of Narcisso's, studio with Caroline, this was going to be in the paper and that Calvin was going to be watching it because he stalks this for whatever reason. In my heart of hearts, this felt like retribution. This felt like, Calvin, you played on my top. I don't like what you said to me 2 years ago at that one party. And so now I'm giving it back to you. I'm gonna sit here and pretend, I just don't want to be bigger than the program, Calvin. Like, how am I gonna be your publicist and I have my own publicity? Like, he's like, don't do that. don't play with me. He said, I didn't had assistants come through here and outgrow a position, but for you to put it on my shoulders like I'm the problem. Like, Carolyn, you are the it girl. You are the woman that all of these girls aspire to. Like, let's not pretend that you don't know exactly what this is. And as she's walking out, because she wanted to smile before she left his office, if I'm honest with you. But when he says, he's the right one. And she's like, who, John? He said, no, Narciso, your designer. I was like, oh goodness, all of it was there. I will say the moment that did kind of get me, outside of her putting on her stunner shades and flexing on the hose in the office, was when he opened his drawer to put back the Polaroids and you see he was designing the dress already. But I still feel like that was about his own vanity and his own accomplishment. Like, yes, this was because of me and now I designed the gown. Calvin, if this is truly who he was in this depiction, was extremely self-absorbed and self-indulgent. And I ain't feel that bad for him, Carolyn. Go on, flex on these hoes because they probably was saying stuff about you the whole time, and let them know I don't need this petty job.
I don't need this. My husband has 2 jobs. My man has 2 jobs. Come on, Rochelle.
Like,
I didn't feel sorry. That's why I'm not mad at Carolyn, because you could see people who try to do favor for favor and appease, and I have to move accordingly in the space
yeah.
because I'm a woman and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. No, I'm gonna move the way I want to.
Mhm.
Carolyn had been plotting this. I don't know how many episodes that was ago where we pulled up in that little red Corvette and John said, I'm outside. She was already putting the bug in this designer's ear, like, when are we going to make that move and get from underneath Calvin? Baby, your designs are brilliant. Don't allow anybody to hold you back. Like it was already there. She was already plotting it and playing, even down to the way that we had those conversations earlier in the episodes when she was giving suggestions for the models, and I was servicing you in a way that I didn't have to, just as a mere publicist. I was doing a whole lot. So the moment I want to have my turn and go my way, respectfully, I get to do that, and I don't have to please you in the process. I
Mhm.
was there for it. Karen said, I know y'all been hooking up, Heifer. I know that you've been talking to other designers, but I just thought because I had done so much and I introduced you to, that you would at least do me the honor of designing the dress.
No,
No.
no,
I
sorry,
said
Vicky.
no.
No.
This was good though. This was shady though. It's so classy, shade. It's like, yeah, we're gonna shade each other, but in the classiest way. Now this shade, honey, this was from the chest.
Yeah.
Mama said, I will not have it. I will not. I already knew this was coming when mom came in. It's like, yeah, so what do you need me for? What can I do? Since you got your degree, everything is kind of set in stone, and I'm just here in name and in person only. Can I get you some jewelry? Can I? Well, mom, I don't wear. Girl, this is what this is about. Do you know what you're about to do with your life? Do you know who you are marrying? Mama hit it on the nose when she said, what about this? What about that? What about when he crosses that threshold into politics? Well, he doesn't even want to be in politics, Mom. We talked about this. She's like, really? Did you? It's very, I love it. It's not like even like maybe like a blue collar, middle class versus like the upper echelon. This looks like, what else is there for him to do? He's not like your average everyday person. It's like, what other choices does he have? It's like, oh God. I love how protective mom was, because anybody could easily fall into this and be, oh girl, you hit the lotto. And oh girl, think about the opportunities. You're gonna be a Kennedy. We get to be attached to this family name. It's just like, no, what about your name? What about us? What about everything you worked so hard for? You're just gonna put your career, you already quit your job. Put this on the back burner to be what and do what? It's gonna be fine, Mom. John said he's gonna protect me, and he has no desire to get into politics. But what is he gonna do? She's like, well, the magazine said, again, what is he gonna do? That expectation in that legacy is always looming over his head, and just because he told you that doesn't mean that the desire or the effort isn't going to be placed there later. And when it is, and he crosses over, are you going to be prepared for that? Because who are you and what are you doing now that you're his wife? She couldn't hold it in by the time we got down to this dinner, honey. When we got to this rehearsal dinner, I was like, y'all better pay attention while mom was speaking. We let him get up there with his politics equals fashion, whatever, equals shirts. It's like,
I like
okay,
that.
two snaps in the circle, have his little poetic moment, real cute. And it was like, okay, yeah, that's. I was like, the mother of the bride is speaking. I have something I want to say. She said, let me put this little note up. And another thing, I was like, oh, I love how it wasn't just utterly disrespectful, and she didn't get up there to undercut this moment or spew any hate or any inner thoughts, saboteur that she had. It was just, I'm speaking to my daughter at this moment, and I'm speaking to John about the expectation of who you are and being there for her and protecting her and being her rock. The way she was, describing Carolyn as, she's always been one to, help and lift up the next person. Okay. If you say so, go to the front of those buses and stand by and lift up the next person. That's just the kind of woman that she is. She's always been able to reach inside and put the other person first. And I just want to know, are you going to put her first? Are you going to put me first, Lucius? Are you going to be there? I did really appreciate that when it happened. John is just he's such a politician. He's a politician. He's very. I said all John needs to go do is kiss some babies at this point. The way he went and gave his stance, like no, Care, like you wait. I need to go speak to mom because clearly the issue is with me, and that sufficed in a way, but it was still very much. Are you though? It's like yeah, without and that got her. She was like, I guess I can tone down because like at least her mother and father was here. She's the most sane woman I know. You guys are here as far as my mother and father. It's very, if I don't have her, I don't have anything or anyone. It's like, no, you have a lot. You have many. You're just choosing her. But let's not act like you don't have any options as far as, other women or careers or avenues. There's that. But are you going to protect my daughter? Are you going to put her first? Or is she going to be having to maneuver in your world and put you in your wants, your needs, and prioritize that for the rest of her life? It was cute. She said, I'm gonna be cute because y'all getting married, but I don't have to like it. Ashley?
Yeah, Mama said, I know you believe that. Like, I know you think you mean that. But what is reality going to be? I honestly think of all of the pushback, the don't allow their expectations of you to basically leave my daughter out on a limb. You need to be there for. You need to ride in that front seat with her. I think she was feeling something really ominous. I think she was feeling what was to come, and I don't think she could properly articulate it or even understand it. I think she knew that if her daughter connected herself with him, that it would be bad. I think in this, she was like, we talk about losing herself, but really she was going to end up losing her life. I think Mama was on point. I think Carolyn should have taken heed to at least some of what Mom was saying, because, I never had to worry about you having your center, right? You've always been determined. You've always been self-assured. You've always gone out knowing exactly what you want. And now I see you diminishing yourself. I see you giving up things. Well, Mama, I gave those up because I wanted to. But did you? And what is he giving up? This wedding, girl. But what about your life? What is that going to look like? I do. I think mamas have intuition. I think women in general have intuition. And I just think she knew that this was not going to be good for her daughter. Of course, no clue that it was going to be as bad as it was. And honestly, for her to lose both of her daughters eventually, this
Oh,
this, this
oh,
is
oh, Ashley, no.
this is beyond. This is beyond. And again, I think JFK
Oh,
Jr. thinks he's a really good guy. And on
yeah.
paper, I think he is. There's just, from what we get, there's just a shallowness and a lack of
Mhm.
care and a very self-centeredness about
He's
him.
privileged.
I don't think that two self-centered people really, it doesn't make for a calm, peaceful, relationship. And unfortunately, his hubris, his bravado is kind of the thing that
Attracts her.
ultimately resulted
Yeah.
in tragedy,
Um,
unfortunately.
yeah, it's a lot. That's all of like his attitude towards it, even from the magazine or even just this marriage. It's very cavalier. It's just
Yeah.
very like, oh, come on, like, oh God. And it's like you could just really understand why he would take flight and think nothing of it because that's just who he is as a man and as a person. I was like, oh my goodness, listen to your mother. Go get your mother. I couldn't, and I was waiting for like the rebuttal when she was like, "What is he giving up?" She's like, "This wedding." Like, keep going. Like, that's it. This is a lifetime. Like, what are we doing? This is just, it gave two teens in love, honestly, and that's just what it is. I think they still had a lot of growing to do that just hadn't really happened yet. Thank you so much for the super chat. Poor mama. Beyond her worst fears came true. It's
Beyond.
very sad. It's very sad. I got emotional when she got up there and said that. I said, "Oh no!" And then it didn't even dawn on me until we got to the end of the episode, and I was like, "She lost two daughters. This is
Too.
awful. This is awful." But leaving this here, Charles gets to this wedding. Watching the docs about this and how they went so hard and thought it was so funny, both Carolyn and John, especially John, because he knew the expectations that the family had as far as marriage and what those nuptials and the settings would look like. He made it his business to take them completely as far out of their element as possible and really thought it was funny. Child, I thought that was as far as it went. This was a raggedy day. This was a raggedy day. 2 and 3 hours late in the heat in that little makeshift shack of a chapel. Are you crazy? That was weird. We already get there, and everybody against their better intuition and thoughts. We're here, and we want to support your union. All 40 of us, or however many of us was in that little church. Nothing's ready. Why is no one ready? Why is no one ready? By the time we got in here with Carolyn, it's like, okay, the makeup, everything is okay. Yeah, if we could just slip this dress on. What do you mean slip it on? Doesn't it have a zipper? Can't you just slip it on? No, I have to pull this over your head. Well, why didn't we think about these things beforehand? Shouldn't somebody have been on this? Baby, the way sis looked at Carolyn and said, someone should have. I mean, maybe if you would have chosen the right person to stand beside you on this special day, these boxes would have been checked. But they're not. Maybe the way Carolyn went like, what? Excuse me? That ain't my business. That's not my business. That's going on. John's running around in his Jeep with the top off. It's very jock, very on campus after school rally. See what are you doing? People are waiting. People are getting anxious enough to walk outside. We're smoking all the way down to the I'm about to just leave. I'm about to just go. It shouldn't even take this long. Baby, when he did his alterations and said, come on out here. If you get in the dress now, we'll only be 2 or so hours late for the wedding. What? It's getting dark. We wanted to catch all this light. And in the meantime, we have all these people waiting, but we're preoccupied with the sounds of helicopters. Is somebody trying to get pictures? Is there someone here? Someone's always going to be there, no matter where you go and what you do. I'm like, Carolyn, this is your life. This is your life moving forward. You thought that you were going to have this quaint little wedding off to the side and no one was going to know about it or be there to try to capture it. They were always going to clamor for you and John at every single moment. There was never going to be that type of privacy ever again in your life. And this was just the actual wedding day. Now, once it actually happened, I was like, oh, this is so nice. It was so beautiful. It looks so beautiful. As trashy as it was to get there, the gown, the simplistic, I liked it. It was raggedy as hell. They were rude to those guests and really, once again, didn't think or consider anybody but themselves. Placing them in that position for that amount of time was just ridiculous to me. But when we actually got there and we married each other, I thought it was really beautiful and very quiet. It felt very sensible. I was like, oh, this is beautiful. I loved it. Ashley, what did you think about this wedding?
This here, juke joint. That's what I felt like. Because why are we returning into the woods to this little juke joint to get married? And not only that, Tyra, but when they get there, they got coolers with brewskis. So
Yeah,
let's set up, lawn chairs out in front of this shack of a church and toss them up while we're waiting in the heat. You have the elders on the inside melting. I said, how disrespectful. First of all, they had to ride in their Sunday best in the back of pickup truck to get to this destination. Meanwhile, this hoe is laid up in a bathtub with a cigarette in her mouth, waiting for the helicopters to fly over. Girl, if y'all don't find something safe to do, the way I would have walked out, that would have been a Kennedy wedding I would have never seen. When they get in there with all the candles, I'm like, is it going to go up in a blaze? You know how old this building is? You know how much raw wood we have exposed in here? By the time we got there, I was tired because if you don't slip that dress over your head, that heifer can do your makeup again. I don't give a single damn. I'm not going to have these people out here melting in the summer heat. He's sitting down there like a forlorn lost child, little orphan Andy, on the front pew or the front steps of the church, waiting for her to pull up. Like, is she going to pull up? Is she not going to pull up? This whole thing aggravated me. Caroline sitting on the couch. Sounds like helicopters to me. You ready to go? Like, this whole thing was a mess. And girl, okay, anyway, I'm gonna leave that there. But we get there, they had an old Negro spiritual playing in the background. I said, now listen. I just beyond for me. It was just beyond. But when they get there, the reception was cute and all that.
It's
But they could have kept
beautiful.
this.
It
Y'all
was
should
beautiful.
have went to City Hall. Or what did he say? Just of the Peace. That's where they should have went. Because this was all a bunch of pomp. Like as much as she said, I don't want the pomp and circumstance and all of that.
This is going to
Quiet
create
as
it.
Exactly. You created that. You created that with these 40 people when you could have just used their wedding planner, had it all planned out, just showed up for your day and went on about your business. This was
Because that was
aggravating.
the talk of the town because you went the complete opposite route. Not only are you in this little quaint chicken coop shack, but only 40 people, then you have another 400 people in an uproar about why didn't I get an invitation? Why
Yeah.
wasn't I there? But that gets back into their childish sensibilities, especially John. He really thought that this was because when I tell you these guests were mad, they didn't get into it too much. This was just, them anticipating, and I'm just like, oh my God, it was given it's hot in this church, Miss Silly. These people were so pissed. I was hoping that they would go and show the accommodations and where they have these people sleeping and what they're accustomed to versus these rooms. Like it gave slave quarters, and they were like, "We're here for John. We're here for John. We're here for care. We're here for the nuptials. We're here for support." But he thought that this was so hilarious, and I don't put it past him to think that this 2 hour, 3 hour wait was always funny. Like, oh, it's getting dark. In there candles. Get some candles in there. It's cool. Let's just. Now it did add to the ambiance. It was beautiful. But
I was
don't play
annoyed.
on these people's time. If you really didn't want the spectacle, you would have quietly went down to the courthouse and had your little ceremony in the most private way possible. No, we wanted this because not everybody wants to see how you went against the grain and your wedding is sticking out because you're getting married here, unlike all the other Kennedys.
I swear, Carolyn was trying to stick it to these people. Okay, y'all gonna be hot today. In this little shack with no air conditioning. It was
Man,
aggravating.
I thought she looked so beautiful though. I thought they
What I
looked
was
great.
thinking the whole time, I was like, we have Sag Harbor, we have the Hamptons. Like, there are cute moments where we can get a beach and have a really classy affair. I really was like, okay, it's going to be one of those things. Like, it's going to be outside, it'll be beautiful, tinted,
No,
all of that. No, we're going to have it in this shack in the woods.
no,
I'm
I knew
just,
this was coming. I knew it. I was just hoping that they would show them slavery shacks that they had these people sleeping in. And these people was like, "Are you serious? There's no air conditioning in here. There's no like we did them up a little cute in the way that we could, which wasn't really too much of anything. But they didn't accommodate these people in any kind of way. I said that's what I just showed that little that dinner and that reception because the actual teens. Now after we leave, everybody calming down and it's all smiles because at least they're finally married and they look very happy and they're having their first dance. We wake up and we just preparing for liftoff. I was like, how y'all took us through those beautiful nuptials. And then we get here to the impending doom. I was like, oh no. They, I say they really trying to make me and Ashley cry. More so Ashley than me. But y'all trying to make somebody cry. Like, y'all know what y'all do when y'all put this in our face. Because it's very, oh, I got a surprise. I got somewhere I want to take you. Where, Jen? Where do you want to go? We're newly married. We're about to board this plane. And we know what results from this. Actually, how did you feel when we were lovey-dovey all in the car? And then we ended up here.
oh yeah. Well, you know that the tragedy is going to happen a couple of years from now, right? So
Yeah.
this is the one with the thing, but it was so ominous rolling up and seeing that plane. You were going to log some more hours, knowing full well when they actually, when everything happens, he ain't logged hardly any hours. He ain't logged enough hours to do whatever he's trying to do up there in the plane. I was like, who booked this? Why is this the honeymoon? Can't we go someplace normal? He's always chasing a damn adventure. I don't want to get on this little pee-wee squeak plane for my honeymoon. And she's like, oh, yay, joy. In the manner of Grace Kelly. Like, I don't, Tyra, I was aggravated. I wasn't even emotional or like sad because we all know what's coming. But I was just very, very annoyed because
I don't
why?
know.
Why? We didn't have to do this. This didn't have to be. This
The
was so
Kennedys is
avoidable.
scary. The Kennedys, their lineage is terrifying. I'm so sorry. Because the main thing you see throughout the show with John, despite his best intentions, he's a procrastinator,
Mhm.
and he doesn't fully go
Me too.
100% with anything that he's done so far. Now, maybe getting into those politics, that could have been that thing. But at this point, we start something and we don't finish it. And this was yet another thing that we start. We start to get the controls and certain aspects of flying down. But did we really get all those hours? Did we really do enough to where we need to take flight alone? No, but this is just who I am, and I'm just John, and no foul, no harm, but these are the things that put you and your wife and her sister in a way. I was like, get away from that plane. I was so mad to be here.
It's that hubris, it's that pride, it's that I can do it. It's fine. Like it always works out. Like it'll be fine. I'm like, no, even up to this point. And I know everyone says everybody wanted a Kendi, but clearly they weren't looking at the patterns. Because if I look at a pattern and I see the daddy, the uncle, the cousin, the brother, like I know immediately it gives curse. And I don't want to be affiliated. I don't want to be connected to it. I just can't imagine it. And then, like you said, you bring on your wife and your sister-in-law, like, I got this, it's fine, knowing you weren't fully equipped. Like, no one would recommend, even the guy on the, like, are you sure about this? Like, we can reschedule it. Like, are you sure? Because the flight guy can't make it. No, I'm good. We're good. Come on, guys. It's just, it didn't have to be this way.
Well, if he's been, handed the world on a silver platter for majority of his life, and nobody, shout out to Michael, holds that ass to task all his life. This is all he knows. What can I do? I can do whatever I want to do, and this is yet, another thing. We're fine. This. I don't want to be there to see it because I'm gonna be hurt. Ashley, predictions for the next episode.
Girl, I don't know. And I'm not looking at nothing real on these people. I am just soaking the show up for what it is because I'm enjoying myself. What I do want to know, I do have questions. I want to know what the 2 or 3 years of married life actually look like for them. I want to see how and if Carolyn changes and how that affects the relationship. And I really want to know if JFK Jr. is going to be as present as he promises, because I'll teach you. I'll teach you how to, because he's media trained fully. But if you wouldn't do that with your family, there's nothing in me that makes me feel like you're going to defend her to the public. So I'm also waiting for the first big thing after marriage that's going to send them on their Meghan Markle kick, like where they want to chew her up and spit her out. I really want to see if he's going to show up for her. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I don't think he's going to have time because it was a short marriage. And I do know he eventually turned over that new leaf. Well, actually, politics is looking really, really good. I do want to go over there and run for whatever. I think that's going to devastate her because you told me something different. So now our life looks extremely different than I thought it would. But based on that first episode, before she's boarding the plane, and it's like, you know what? Not the red polish. I don't need the extras. She's trying to adjust, and I just don't think it's going to be enough. Because Carolyn we met, and they did a good job of depicting her as wild, carefree, a bit untamed. I do what I want, when I want. I say when, I say who, I say how much. All of that good energy. So to just turn that all off and just be John's wife, I think is going to be a bit much. Protecting her, baby, we can all see that ain't. That's not what it is. And for John, it's going to be, come on, it's just no big deal. Like, this is what it is. She's just like, well, no, remember before we got married, you said that I would never have to worry about it and that you were going to adjust this and I was going to be protected in our marriage. That doesn't make any sense. And we know it doesn't make any sense, but clearly Carolyn was in love. I want to know when and if the tough gets going, are you going to try to run your little happy stuff over in that model? Because soon as something happens, she has a pattern.
She does.
Now, they're depicted as just, having quaint little catch-ups and conversations here. And it's just in the base of friendship. But the moment John isn't doing right, she calls that man. And he's there. He's going to show up because he loves her dirty drawers as well. But she always calls him. How is that going to look? Because I's married now. I think that's going to be that. And I do know that there was also the expectation for her to eventually, like, okay, you're married. You got 5 minutes to make a baby. Where are the children? We need an heir. We need a seed. Is there going to be pressure put on her about that? And if there is it going to be coming from John? I don't know. But I know it gets rocky from here. But y'all, that was Love Story. Ashley, anything you want to share with the people before we get out?
Be sure to check out the upload. I did an upload for Blue Therapy earlier today. If you haven't watched that, that's the 8 episode series that premiered on Netflix of all about couples therapy. It was interesting, an interesting watch. So go check that out. My upload for Love Story will be up tomorrow. And we're also doing a live tomorrow for Love Therapy. Also, if you're in the Discord after this live, I'm going to be in there to watch the finale of Love During Lockup. So, be there, be square, hit the notification bell, subscribe to everybody, like, hype if you got some hype points left. We need all we can get.
Y'all, if y'all ain't went over there and watched Blue Therapy, or you watched Love is Blind and it didn't give you what you needed, go over there and watch them little quaint few episodes of Blue Therapy that we'll be discussing tomorrow. I had a good time. I got up on my seat several times. Be sure to check that out and support Ashley's upload, as well as the live discussion tomorrow, as well as this one. As she said, if you got a few not he didn't cheat, she did. Be sure to hype the video. Can't wait to return and discuss the latest episode of Love Story with you guys. But until next time, y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Listen. My body, it's your body, baby.